The distress signal reached Earth's outer listening posts at 0347 hours, transmitted on frequencies so ancient that only the most dedicated xenolinguists recognized the mathematical patterns woven through the static. The message was simple, desperate, and directed at any civilization capable of interstellar travel. "We are dying," it said in broken universal standard. "Our world burns. Children starve. We have nothing left to give. Please, if anyone hears this, we need help." The transmission originated from Kepler 442b, a world the galactic community had written off as another failed colony. The Terran listening post on Luna immediately forwarded the message to Earth's newly formed Department of Interstellar Affairs, where Director Kane studied the data with growing concern. The file on Kepler 442b painted a grim picture. The Helix. Confederation had established a mining colony there 40 years ago, stripping the planet's rare Earth deposits while keeping the native population as indentured laborers. When the mines ran dry, the Confederation simply abandoned the world, leaving behind nearly 2 million beings to face ecological collapse. "Sir," said Lieutenant Reed, Kane's aide, "the Galactic Council has already voted. They're classifying this as an internal matter. No intervention authorized." Kane stared at the holographic display showing Kepler 442b's deteriorating orbital data. Atmospheric processors failing, water supplies contaminated, crop yields dropping catastrophically. The planet had maybe 6 months before total biosphere collapse. "What's our fleet status?" Kane asked. "Sir, we're not supposed to—" "What's our fleet status, Lieutenant?" Reed hesitated. "The 5th Battle Group finished war games last week. Admiral Cross has them stationed at the Titan shipyards, fully supplied and ready for deployment." Kane nodded slowly. Humanity had joined the galactic community only 15 years ago, after the first faster-than-light drives came online. Most species viewed Earth as an aggressive upstart, too violent and unpredictable for serious diplomatic consideration. The humans had proven their point during the border wars, when pirate fleets learned the hard way that Earth protected its shipping lanes with overwhelming force. "Get me Admiral Cross," Kane ordered. The hologram flickered to life, showing a weathered woman with steel-gray hair and the bearing of someone who had commanded starships through actual combat. "Director Kane, I assume this is about the distress call from Kepler 442b. "The Council won't act," Kane said simply. "And you want us to—" "Act anyway," Cross studied him carefully. "That's an act of war against the Helix Confederation. They still claim territorial rights to that system. They abandoned those people to die." "I'm aware." Cross was quiet for a moment. "My grandmother always said that sometimes doing the right thing means everyone else thinks you're wrong. How many ships do you want me to take?" "All of them." 3 days later, the 5th Battle Group translated out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system. Admiral Cross commanded from the bridge of the heavy cruiser Defiant, watching as her ships spread into defensive formation. 27 vessels in total, 8 cruisers, 12 destroyers, 6 supply ships, and the hospital ship Mercy. The planet looked worse than the intelligence reports suggested. Brown scars marked where forests had once covered the continents. The polar ice caps showed dark stains from industrial runoff. Orbital scans detected massive refugee camps clustered around the few remaining clean water sources. "Admiral," called Commander Hayes from the communications station, "we're receiving multiple transmissions from the surface. They're asking if we're really here to help." Cross activated the planetary broadcast system. "This is Admiral Cross of the Terran 5th Battle Group. We received your distress call. We're here to help." The response was immediate and overwhelming. Thousands of voices speaking dozens of languages, all expressing the same desperate gratitude. Some were sobbing. Others were praying in tongues Cross didn't recognize. "Begin relief operations," she ordered. "I want supply drops at every major population center within 6 hours. Medical teams to the surface as soon as we confirm landing zones." The work began immediately. Cargo shuttles descended loaded with food, water purification systems, and medical supplies. The hospital ship Mercy deployed its full complement of doctors and nurses, setting up field hospitals in the worst affected areas. Engineering teams from the destroyers began emergency repairs to the failing atmospheric processors. It was exhausting, desperate work. The planet's ecosystem was collapsing faster than anyone had predicted. Every day brought new crises: a water treatment plant failure here, a crop disease outbreak there, refugees fleeing from regions where the very air had become toxic. On the fourth day, the Helix Confederation arrived. Unknown human vessels, came the transmission from the lead ship, a massive dreadnought that dwarfed even Cross's heavy cruisers. You are operating illegally in Confederation space. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. Cross studied the tactical display. 12 Confederation ships, including that dreadnought, and 3 battle cruisers. Her fleet was outnumbered and outgunned. But her ships were newer, faster, and crewed by veterans of the border wars. Confederation vessels, she replied. We are conducting humanitarian relief operations. We will not withdraw while people are dying. You have 1 hour to comply. Cross cut the channel and turned to her tactical officer. Battle stations, all ships, prepare for combat. The hour passed in tense silence. Cross used the time to evacuate as many non-essential personnel as possible from the surface. The medical teams refused to leave their patients. When the Confederation opened fire, the battle was brief and decisive. Human ships fought with the desperate fury of those protecting the defenseless. The Terran destroyers used their superior speed to flank the enemy formation, while the cruisers concentrated fire on the dreadnought's weakest points. In 27 minutes, it was over. The Confederation dreadnought listed helplessly, its main, drives destroyed. 2 of their battle cruisers had surrendered. The rest had withdrawn to hyperspace. Cross didn't pursue. She had work to do. The relief operations continued for 3 months. Terran engineers rebuilt the atmospheric processors and established new water treatment facilities. Agricultural specialists introduced hardy crop varieties that could survive in the damaged ecosystem. Most importantly, human diplomats negotiated with a dozen other species to establish a permanent support network for Kepler 442b. When Admiral Cross finally received the recall order from Earth, she left behind a world that was healing. The refugee camps had been replaced by permanent settlements. Children played in parks where toxic waste dumps had been just months before. As the 5th Battle Group prepared to depart, the planetary government transmitted a final message. Thank you, it said simply. We asked for aid, and you brought us hope. Admiral Cross smiled as her ships translated into hyperspace. Sometimes the right thing was also the human thing.